Welcome back, friends, to another episode of the Juicebox Podcast.
Hey guys, I am Riki and I'm a massive petrol head. I think it was more about not being like, hey, I'm Riki, I'm a diabetic, because, that's the boring part.
Nothing you hear on the Juicebox Podcast should be considered advice, medical or otherwise. Always consult a physician before making any changes to your healthcare plan. Don't forget to save 40% off of your entire order at CozyEarth.com. All you have to do is use the offer code JUICEBOX at checkout. That's JUICEBOX at checkout to save 40% at CozyEarth.com. AG1 is offering my listeners a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. So make sure you check out drinkag1.com/juicebox to get this offer. Are you an adult living with type 1 or the caregiver of someone who is and a U.S. resident? If you are, I'd love it if you would go to t1dexchange.org/juicebox and take the survey. When you complete that survey, your answers are used to move type 1 diabetes research of all kinds. So if you'd like to help with type 1 research, t1dexchange.org/juicebox. It should not take you more than about 10 minutes. This episode of the Juicebox Podcast is sponsored by the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. Learn more and get started today at contournext.com/juicebox. US Med is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and we've been getting our diabetes supplies from US Med for years. You can as well. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. Use the link or the number, get your free benefits check, and get started today with US Med. The episode you're about to listen to was sponsored by Touched by Type 1. Go check them out right now on Facebook, Instagram, and of course at touchedbytype1.org. Check out that programs tab when you get to the website to see all the great things that they're doing for people living with type 1 diabetes. Touchedbytype1.org.
Hey guys, I am Riki and I'm a massive petrol head.
Wait a minute, what are you?
Petrol head.
A petrol head?
Yeah.
You like cars?
A little bit.
But not if they're electric.
No, definitely not.
What happens if they're electric?
I will give them a wide berth because I don't want to burn.
I think you've been watching the news too much, but okay.
Oh, I think I've been watching the highways and the littering of the electric cars on fire.
What kind of, well, first of all, I can tell by your accent you live in Iowa. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. New Zealand.
What kind of electric cars are on fire in New Zealand?
Teslas, Nissan Leafs. To be fair, the Mazda 6 seems to be going up a bit at the moment. That's not electric, but the Teslas, there's a few. We've seen a few on trucks, on boats.
Have you ever... Go tell me, you've worked what?
I work in the automotive industry, so maybe I have a little bit more of an insight.
So I spoke to someone once who works on a shipping container ship,
yes.
Right? And I guess a battery from an electric car caught fire on the ship. And there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah, they just bury them in water and let them go. It's kind of scary.
Having said that, I believe if I got the statistics, far more gasoline cars burn every year than electric cars, but that's neither here nor there.
That would be so right, but because I'm a petrol head, I just won't believe that.
Yeah, you just want your car to make noise, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, well, they don't have to make noise, but it's nice when they do.
Do you prefer like fast cars? Do you not care? Do you like pretty cars? What do you like?
Fast cars. I'm into drag racing. So.
Okay. So then I have to say, an electric car would be much faster than a gas car.
However, the fastest car in New Zealand is not an EV.
Really?
By a long stretch. Oh, yeah.
What is it?
And the EVs are much lighter too.
But is it something you could you afford, like the fastest car, Riki?
Oh, hell no.
Oh.
Hell no.
Because I think that's kind of one of the amazing things about an electric car is that, like, you know, if you have reasonable credit and a job, you could be driving 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah, they're quick on the street. However, I don't like to race on that anymore.
No,
it's a bit naughty.
Wait. In the past, you've raced on the street?
For 5 years plus, probably. That was what we did when we were teenagers.
Oh, yeah. That's nice. What did you drive when you were a teenager?
Mini Mitsubishi Evos.
How fast could that thing be?
I mean, back then we thought they were very fast, but today a Tesla would be faster, to be fair.
Yeah, it's really something, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway.
It is. It's
all
right. Scary.
Neither here nor there. This is a passion for you, or just because, I mean, I have to be honest,
Passion.
like I've made a lot of these podcasts, and I believe you're the first person to be like, hey, my name is, and I love sports card trading. Like, I don't think no one's ever led with that before.
Yeah, I think it was more about not being like, hey, I'm Riki, I'm a diabetic, because,
you were looking
that's the boring part.
I imagine that is the boring part. Okay, so how long have you had type 1?
4 years and a couple of months.
Oh, how old are you?
38 today.
No kidding. When you were diagnosed at 30, wait, stop. Your birthday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm honored. Look at us. I mean, I think I can sing. I think happy birthday is in the, I don't think I can be stopped from singing happy birthday if I want to.
No, you could definitely sing it. I don't know how much I'll enjoy it, though. It might be like that thing where you get compliments and I get sung happy birthday on the same level there.
I'm going to say that there's no way anyone's complimenting me if I sing happy birthday. But did you choose this day because it was your birthday?
No, it was the timing, really. It was the only one that was available before work because it's an ungodly hour here.
Yeah. So it's 11 a.m. here. What time is it where you are?
5:15 a.m.
Oh, my God. So we're going to do this and you're going to go to work?
Yeah. I had planned to work from home today, but my boss brought me a birthday cake and I have to go and eat it with my coworkers, which,
You are going to be cursing me out like halfway through the day.
She'll be right.
I mean, like, I am so tired. That stupid podcast is not going to come out for 6 months. Talked for 5 minutes about my goddamn car at the beginning. Okay, well, let's get to it then. So you were diagnosed at 34. Is there 33, excuse me. Was there type 1 in your family?
Yes, but not in this country. I was born in England and moved here when I was very young. I have an auntie in England that is type 1. So kind of out of sight, out of mind, if you will.
Okay, so there's a connection, but you didn't grow up around it, wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew about it, but I didn't, it didn't mean anything to me.
Not enough that when you started having symptoms, you understood what was happening, or you did?
Exactly.
What was that like?
Different. I was diagnosed type 1 3 months to the day after a hysterectomy because of endometriosis or adenomyosis. So when all of the symptoms started, I thought the only thing that I had left, i.e. my ovaries, were dying. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on HRT for the rest of my life and all the rest of it. So when I got diagnosed, I was actually kind of happy.
You were, because you thought like, this is it. I'm melting inside. It's over.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll just eat salad. This is way better.
I thought I was dying, but I only have type 1 diabetes. Whew.
Yeah, it's fine.
Lucky me. Oh, no kidding. Well, but that's interesting perspective though, isn't it? Like, because you thought something more terrible was happening to you, you were happy to hear the news.
Yeah, like to the point where I had the nurse come in a few hours after they told me and be like, we're really worried that you haven't reacted to your diagnosis. This is life-changing, blah, 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 blah. My personality leans more towards like, I'm not going to cry about things that I can't change. So I kind of responded to her and was like, well, did you want me to cry? What am I supposed to do? I'm not that fast.
Yeah.
And it was just that was strange. That's when I started Googling.
Can we pivot away from diabetes? People are like, great, here he goes. It's 6 minutes in. He's going to pivot away from diabetes, but I'll come back to it, I promise.
Totally.
I want to know about the hysterectomy. What led up to that and what made you explain that whole endometriosis thing to me? I have always disliked ordering diabetes supplies. I'm guessing you have as well. It hasn't been a problem for us for the last few years, though, because we began using US Med. You can too. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514 to get your free benefits check. US Med has served over 1 million people living with diabetes since 1996. They carry everything you need, from CGMs to insulin pumps and diabetes testing supplies and more. I'm talking about all the good ones, all your favorites. Libre 3, Dexcom G7, and pumps like Omnipod 5, Omnipod DASH, Tandem, and most recently, the iLet pump from Beta Bionics. The stuff you're looking for, they have it at US Med. 888-721-1514 or go to usmed.com/juicebox to get started now. Use my link to support the podcast. That's usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. The Contour NextGen blood glucose meter is sponsoring this episode of the Juicebox Podcast, and it's entirely possible that it is less expensive in cash than you're paying right now for your meter through your insurance company. That's right. If you go to my link, contournext.com/juicebox, you're going to find links to Walmart, Amazon, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Kroger, and Meijer. You could be paying more right now through your insurance for your test strips and meter than you would pay through my link for the Contour NextGen and Contour Next test strips in cash. What am I saying? My link may be cheaper out of your pocket than you're paying right now, even with your insurance. And I don't know what meter you have right now. I can't say that. But what I can say for sure is that the Contour NextGen meter is accurate. It is reliable, and it is the meter that we've been using for years. contournext.com/juicebox. And if you already have a Contour meter and you're buying test strips, doing so through the Juicebox Podcast link will help to support the show.
So I'd say that I had symptoms from as soon as I started getting a period. So 12, 13 years old, which is early. Probably 6 years before my hysterectomy, I started screaming, it's endometriosis from the top of my lungs to everyone I saw. There was a lot of symptoms for the 4 years before that, but that's a bit of a boring story. So I got to the point where I was spreadsheeting every pill that was going in my mouth, every symptom, and going into hospital every 2 weeks, unable to walk, couldn't drive. At one point I had 3 different types of contraceptive trying to stop the bleeding and all the rest of it. Mm-hmm. And I never wanted kids, so it was a really easy decision for me once I figured out that I had adenomyosis, which is localized in the uterus, that I would just have a hysterectomy and it'll all be fine. Apparently the doctors think that I want to have kids, so that became a big fight for 3 or 4 years. The first time that they ever let me into what we call here pain clinic, which means I was referred into surgical area, I had a screaming match with the woman because she was saying to me, oh, well, your scan says this. And I said, this is a progressive disease. That scan's old now. Will you do another one? And it was just back and forth and back and forth. And by the end of that meeting, I was on the list. And a year later, during COVID, I had my hysterectomy.
Wow.
And I woke up feeling like they removed a bowling ball dipped in deep heat. And that was with the huge scar in the front of me and all the rest of it.
Big scar, just had a pretty massive surgery. You felt relief?
Yeah, amazing. I felt the best I'd felt in 10 years.
Wow, geez.
And type 1 did not change that. And they told me to go to the hospital. I was like, you're insane. I feel great. What is wrong with you?
Hospital? Let me tell you the story about my ovaries. That's a hospital visit. I don't even feel. So do you have like a high pain threshold, do you think, because of it?
I guess so, but I don't have too much to compare it to. I've only broken a wrist here and there. And I've read a lot about women that have had children and have adenomyosis, and they say that at least with childbirth, the pain stops. So.
Did you have any like psychological like kickbacks? Did you like the minute it happened, you go, what if I did want kids? Like, did that happen?
Oh, nah.
No?
Not that part. No. I was more like, yes, white underwear, let's go shopping.
White underwear. Are there any unintended or expected impacts from the hysterectomy that you look back on and go, I wish this wasn't happening, but it's worth it?
Type 1.
You think that came from that?
I mean, the trauma, I don't think of anything else that happened between. I didn't get sick or anything. I don't know that it's definitely right, but my blood sugar was fine by my pre-op blood work. And then 3 months to the day later, I've got a A1C of 118. I can't convert that into yours. And my blood sugar was like 29 mmol. And, and we would have caught it real early because I was all over any symptom. It's like, oh my God, my mouth's dry. Oh my God, this is happening.
It's really interesting. Listen, I've heard people, I had a virus, I was diagnosed. I've heard people say I had a traumatic experience, I was diagnosed. I don't know that a surgery wouldn't like qualify as traumatic. You know what I mean?
Big weight on the body.
Yeah, no kidding. So you get the news. I'm assuming it all comes the way you expect. Thirsty, peeing,
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Crazy, like waking up every hour in the night, drink a litre of water, go back to bed for an hour, get up, do it again.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Like an old guy.
Yeah.
You're married, not married?
I don't believe in marriage. I have a long-term partner. We've been together 12 years.
There's a person you let live in the house.
Yeah.
That's nice. First of all, I don't care. I want to just be clear about that. But when you have a partner for a long time, they know you don't want kids, and that's something they're okay with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm real open about that real early on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Diabetes comes. What comes next? Is it like, because your note to me is interesting. I find it actually very interesting. Is bad medical advice first? Is that what you experienced first?
Yeah, so I'd say that happened with the endo thing, right? So I obviously was ignored for 6 years while I had diagnosed myself and was actually correct. And they hadn't even acknowledged it until probably a year or so before I went for my operation. So I already knew that they were going to lie when I got this thing. Cause,
let me ask you, is that how you think of it? Or is that how it happened? Like, do you think they're lying to you, or do you think they don't know, or do you think that they don't know enough to do something with, like remove your reproductive organs, which, you know what I mean? Like, where do you think that really, it's fun to say they lied, and maybe they did, but how do you really think about it?
I think about it like there's only so many referrals they're able to put through in a very broken public system, and you need to be pushy and abrupt to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I feel like if I go to a GP, my general practitioner, and go, I've got this problem, they'll refer you and you'll get declined lots and lots of times, except I was in the emergency department at the hospital every 2 weeks, unable to walk. So why are they, I don't understand. Like it was, if I can figure it out, I sell car parts for a living. Why can't, 6 years worth of doctors and ED visits, and I went through 13 GPs trying to find one that would refer me. So I don't know, maybe it is idiocy.
Riki, so, trust me, I think it might be, but you say, I have a lot of pain. This is a problem. This is what I think is happening. Your general practitioner says, cool, whatever. Here's a referral to the next thing. And then the system says, no, you don't qualify to follow through with the referral.
Pretty much, but they ply you with opiates first.
Oh.
So it was, here's some tramadol, here's some morphine, here's some liquid morphine, here's some cancer level anti-inflammatories that'll damage your kidneys or whatever they're damaging, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I think I was on 12 pills.
Riki, all those things you just listed, you tried every one of those things?
Oh, and more. I've got a scrapbook somewhere in this house of probably, I reckon it'd be 4 pages of the little stickers that you get on your prescriptions, and I'd stick them in a book, write down why I was taking them, how they made me feel, all of those things to try and get somewhere when I got to the doctor. There is pages of that. It's insane.
Did you say liquid morphine at one point?
Yeah, Oromorph.
Jeez.
It's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you just fix the problem? Like, stop band-aiding me.
I think at some point that you were going to get to, like, here's a big rock, hit yourself in the head with it. And
that would have been better. I mean, they gave me benzos at the ED once and told me it was all in my head. Actually, I had that a few times.
Wait. Is it a mix of male and female doctors?
To be honest, it was, at the start, it would have been more male until I figured out that I thought that they didn't know as much. So I would go to younger female doctors. And when I went through those 13 GPs, I did find a woman that was, in her late 30s that was really, really helpful. She got the referral through to the pain clinic and everything. Yeah, the men aren't too helpful.
Were you met with like that, like 1950s, like, oh, she's just got the vapor, she seems upset, we'll
hysterical.
Yeah, like, oh, I hate it when they talk so much, get her high, like that kind of thing? Or what do we...
I don't know if I would have thought about it like that in the setting, but most of the visits felt like a judgment. I didn't ever feel like a drug seeker, but I felt like I was wasting their time.
Oh, do you think they thought you were seeking drugs?
I think they would have treated me differently, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I would have left the ED with pills of morphine if they thought I was drug seeking.
Is there sexism involved in this? I'm not usually one to blow these whistles, but is there sexism involved in this?
This is a bit ruthless, but I think the medical industry in general is, I mean, we're still calling a hysterectomy, like a hysterectomy, you still got hyster in it. Is that not from hysterical? Isn't it a uterectomy? It's a uterus.
Well, is that what it means? Hold on a second.
I'm sure it does. I've read way too many woke books.
Wait, what is the etymology of the word hysterectomy? Let's find out together.
Yeah. It's like hysterical. I've read so many books about it.
It has roots in the Greek, comes from hysteria, which means womb, which means womb or uterus in Greek.
Yep.
Ectomy, which means cutting out. I don't know. I liked your explanation more, but I don't think that's where the word. I don't think that's where the word comes from. But that would have been. You're like, oh, they think look at this hysterical broad. Let's help.
That's
her.
what it feels like. Seriously, you go in there, you're like, okay, I can't walk. Like I had sciatic limp. Like that sciatica pain, and would kind of make your foot drag.
Yeah. So you're
and
crazy
then
pain, crazy bleeding.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing. Periods that just lasted forever.
I bled for 16 weeks once.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was fun.
Have you had a lot of iron infusions? How do they help you with that?
They never tested that. They never wanted to give me that. I did a bit of my own testing and it seemed okay. I don't know how. I don't like red meat. A trigger for endometriosis is red meat, dairy, all the things you need.
Well, I'll tell you what, lucky you on that part. Because trust me, if you would have added that incredibly low energy, like shortness of breath, like that kind of thing to it, that would have just made it even that much worse. Okay, but somebody helped you, which is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I fought my way through.
Have you talked to other women in your family? Did other people struggle like this?
I grew up with only the men in my family. So my mother still lives in the UK, so I didn't grow up around her. But I know that my grandmother on my New Zealand side had one kid and then she had a hysterectomy and she had a lot of woman problems. And that's as much as I know from my dad and my grandfather.
All right. Listen, this is none of my business, but none of this is any of my business. So your father left England and took you to New Zealand without your mom. So they broke up, split up. Is your mom a bank robber who uses heroin? How did that happen? What's going on?
That's another very interesting story. So it depends on who you ask. She has this version and he's got a version. His version is that she was a drunk bitch.
Okay. What's her version?
She came home one day, he had a new partner, the house was empty and they were on a plane.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't think I care enough. I only met her in 2017. So
I was going to say, have you ever dug through it or no?
When I was younger and more nosy, definitely. So I found some court papers, but it was basically just the two women abusing each other over the phone, which is insane.
His new girlfriend and your mom.
Yeah. To be fair, she became my stepmother and I have a half brother.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So not just your dad's new girlfriend, your dad's wife, and he's been with her for a while now.
She left when I was 13.
Did she ride off on a Komodo dragon by any chance? That would have been awesome.
Oh, it would have been amazing, but unfortunately not.
No. So your dad bails. All right. So your dad leaves England and your mom with the lady. The lady becomes your stepmom. You have a stepbrother, but by the time you're 13, she leaves. How old were you when you left England?
3 or 4.
Oh, she made it a whole decade.
Yeah.
Now, when she left, did she have the same complaints as your mom? Or was it something?
Didn't upkeep the relationship on that one. So not too sure. I reckon it'll be worse. I feel like she's a more dramatic person.
All right, Riki. I like you. We should all live on New Zealand. It's an island, right? I can say on New Zealand?
Yeah. Well, there's 2 or 3 islands to be fair, but yeah, absolutely on an island.
Nice. You remember that time, like I think it's about 8-9 years ago, there was a new world map drawn and they forgot to put it on. It's awesome.
Wasn't that on Barbie or something?
I
remember people getting shit about that.
That actually happened. Like somebody was just like, what about New Zealand? And they're like, oh, whoops.
Yeah, we don't care. As long as the big, powerful people with the guns can't see us, we're cool.
Yeah, listen, am I right to say that New Zealand doesn't have any snakes?
Correct. Maybe we have sea snakes that come over from Australia or something. I've seen some in the water, but I've never seen anything like that.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
okay.
hard.
That's where I'm going to retire then.
Yeah. In the north. Definitely the north.
I just want to go outside, but not be attacked by a snake or a bear or something like that. You don't have any of those things.
No, the only thing we have is like a spider. It's like 1 or 2 spiders that are a bit dodgy, but other than that.
Can they kill me?
Nah.
Oh, all right. Oh, and can my chameleons live outside there? Is it warm all year round or no?
Not all year. Oh, it depends where you are, I guess, but I'd say that the lowest it would be is like 6 Celsius.
I don't know what that
That's
means.
pretty cold.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. I have no idea what that means. 6 Celsius. I'll just
That's
do it.
really cold.
Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't know. I'll take a look. Because you didn't know about
pretty sure it's
the
cold.
millimoles and the other things.
Yeah, fair play.
Oh, 42?
Yeah, that's about as cold as it gets, I reckon.
Oh, sweetie, I can deal with that. No
Yeah.
problem. Don't you worry. Okay, I'm on my way. All right.
If you go to the South Island, there's snow, but I'm just talking about the winterless
Oh,
ones.
no, I won't go there. So I come there and how much money I got to bring in retirement to live out my days in New Zealand?
How many years you thinking?
That's a fair
And what
point.
are your hobbies?
No, wait. That's a fair. You're making fair points.
Yeah.
Let's say I got to live 10 years where I can walk, 5 years where everything sucks, and 5 years where I'm slowly dying.
I reckon you need at least 60K a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
For 20 years.
And our money's worth less than yours.
Your money's worth less than mine. Well, I'll bring my money.
Yeah, and then it'll be easier, right? Because I'm talking to my money.
Yeah, what do I got? I don't have to trade it into whatever garbage money you're using, right? Do I?
Oh, you totes do. You have to turn your USD into NZD.
Oh, I don't want to do that, I don't think. Okay, all right. Well, I'll work on, I was going to say something flippant, but I don't want people to think I would have an offshore. I don't have an offshore account. I would never have an offshore account. I just want to say that in case anybody's listening. Okay, so I need 60K a year for 20 years. Let me see how much money I got to save up so I can move to Australia.
Sounds like a lot. Wait, not Australia, New Zealand.
No,
Fuck
New Zealand.
Australia.
Sorry, down that direction. You know what I mean. I need $1.2 million if I want to live 20 years in New Zealand. And is the healthcare going to suck for me? Is that going to be a problem?
It depends how passive aggressive you are. You'll be fine.
How much I can push my way through it?
Yeah, totally.
At the moment, I still have energy. I could do it.
Oh, I know where your problem will be.
Where?
If you bring the kids and stuff, no Omnipods here.
Well, I'm not bringing anybody's kid. No, that's it.
Yeah, I'm done.
We were talking about this the other day about how we're like, my wife and I are very focused on like our kids, even as they get older, just meaning that like, we're not the kind of people who are like, oh, you're 18. Good luck. I'll see you at Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my son was saying like how much he appreciates it. We were just talking about it actually. And actually he was teasing my wife about something. And my wife goes, say 3 things that I've done well, please. And one of the things he said was like, letting me live here a little longer to like get my feet under me before I leave. I appreciate that. And we were talking about how we know people who, are like literally like, I'm not going to help you with school. I'm not going to help you with this. When you're 18, you're on your own. I said to him, but I do think sometimes about like I would never do that. But if I was a person who would do that, like, what would I be doing right now? Like, what would I, like, I'd have more money, right? Like, I'd have more time. I'd have like, I'm like, maybe that is
everything.
Yeah.
I've thought about it so much.
So yeah, you've thought, I'm just saying that when the time comes, there is going to be like a bell I'm going to ring, and the bell is going to be like, ding, ding, ding. It's over.
We're out.
See you, suckers. All right. So I'm going to work on pulling together $1.2 million so I can go to New Zealand.
Just sell your house. That's how you do it.
That isn't going to make it. If I sell my house, I'm not going to have $1.2 million. I'm sorry to say.
1.2 million New Zealand dollars, remember?
Well, no, I just did 60,000 American dollars for 20 years.
Yeah.
How much is 1.2 million New Zealand dollars?
I don't know exactly, but I reckon we're about 80%, and then it can swing down. I know it's somewhere between 50 and 80% or something. It swings quite a lot, to be fair.
What am I losing by coming to New Zealand?
Stuff. Like, we just don't have the amount. I've only been to Hawaii. Yeah, like, actually, like, you walk into a supermarket and you're like, why is there so much stuff in here? Like, it's just too much shit. What is this?
So there's no stuff in New Zealand, no extra?
No, we have, like, food that came off a tree, and like there's those parts of supermarkets. I don't know. I've only ever seen the supermarkets in Hawaii. I haven't been to mainland America, but it's strange.
So like if you saw like if I see a pack of Oreos in New Zealand, they're $75, right?
Oh no, we have Oreos at like other brands, like the big name stuff's here, but I remember going into a Walmart and there was an entire aisle for just biscuits and stuff. I'm like, wow, like why?
Huh. That's a lot of biscuits.
Yeah. Why so many?
So we have some medical distrust from the hysterectomy stuff. Understandable. The next thing on your list here is danger of ED.
Oh, the emergency department.
Oh, thank God. Because I was like, so it's funny for everyone listening. Riki's name is Riki, but it's spelled differently. And I thought, is this Riki a man who wants to talk about erectile dysfunction? because it's exactly what I thought when
So
when it popped up. I was
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
I know I have a boy's name, but that is funny.
Okay, so director, a danger of the emergency department. Tell me more.
Okay, I was actually in there 4 weeks ago. I had a bad asthma flare after getting my carpet replaced in my lounge, and I told them that I'd be managing my type 1 for myself because the last time I was in there, they tried to take my pump off me, and then when I argued that I wouldn't be giving them that, that I'd have to tell them every single time I put insulin in, but I'm on control IQ, and that's kind of hard.
It's happening again. It's happening again. Hello? Ding, ding, ding.
What?
It's happening again.
What?
0.2 just went in. Did you guys? So they. Hold on. The basal just went from 1 unit an hour to 0.8. Did you guys need to know that? So that's what they wanted?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then they come around with their food options in there of like cereal. And I'm like, it makes me so angry. So I'm in there because I think I was losing my honeymoon period the time I'm talking about, which is probably a year or so ago. Mm-hmm. So I've got what I would define as very high blood sugar, and I can't control it. And it's been a day and it's freaking me out and I want someone to help me. So this is the first time I went into type 1. And I'm like, okay, I'll go in actually I contacted we have a team over here. You get given a team of diabetic helpers or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So I contacted the nurse practitioner by email. She called me. We had some conversations about what I'd been doing and things, and she sent me straight into the emergency department, which are underfunded. They've literally got critical staff shortages, signs everywhere. So I go in, and they'd want to take my pump because of my high blood sugar.
Hold on, Riki, are they like help wanted signs, or are they letting you know they don't have enough people?
They're letting you know that they don't have enough people.
Gotcha.
It's scary. Yeah, and so the first thing that they want to do is, for my high blood sugars, they want to take my insulin. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And so the entire time that I was there, no insulin was given. So the only way it was given was through the pump that they were going to take from me that I had a screaming match with somebody about. Jeez. And then, so I get discharged with the same kind of blood sugar I had when I got there. And then they're trying to push crap food on me whilst, they probably wouldn't have given insulin until an hour after that, because they bring food around, then they bring the insulin around, it's a shit show.
No, well, listen, I think this is good news for me because now I do not need to save up $2,012,400 New Zealand dollars because I'm not coming there.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I think healthcare is probably about the same everywhere you go because it's run by people.
Yes,
it's run by people and money. So I think you're going to have the same problems along the way. I'm sure there are places where healthcare isn't run by money. It's run by government. Then you just have the people problem, whatever.
Yeah.
I like America where if I can throw a little bit of money around, I can get helped if I need to.
I want that here so bad. I can't even buy Fiasp if I want it or Omnipod if I want it. We don't have any of it here. It's not approved.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks that it comes to that, but I mean, I've been very clear on the podcast. Like, I send Arden to a cash endocrinologist. Like, our insurance covers it later, but we pay out of pocket, and then our insurance reimburses us. But it's the only way to get like reasonable care from anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I had my pump within, I think it was 8 months. But again, I'm very pushy because I knew I had the experience before. So I was like, no one's telling me no this time. This is how we're doing it. It's my way, or I'll figure out another way.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to your diabetes. I just imagine people listening going, 31 minutes. Yes, Scott, let's get back to the diabetes now. But we learned a lot of interesting things, I thought. I like that you were able to alleviate your pain. I think it's pretty cool that you were giving something up, but you knew yourself well enough to know that, it was the right thing to do, that you fought through doctors telling you, oh, no, you're going to want a baby one day. Like, awesome. Like, what else do you know about me that I don't know?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I want to say, I get that they don't want to take out your baby maker and then you come back and be like, hey, you should try to talk me out of taking out my baby maker. Like, I get that. Yeah. But at some point, it's got to be your decision. And you fought through that. Awesome. You fought through a little bit of men not seeming to understand what women's lives are like when they have health issues.
How do you look after a baby when you can't walk? Just a caveat on the side there.
It's good. I had a baby, but I bled out on my period after the baby came. And anyway, the baby drowned in the blood that came out of me.
Yeah, that sounds very viable.
It almost worked out. I just wrote a horror movie for next Halloween. It'll be out from Lionsgate or something. Can you imagine? Hey, here's our movie. Doctor forces you to keep your uterus and have a baby. You have the baby.
Gosh. It was a horror movie.
You have such... Now I can't finish my movie pitch because that was too funny. Diabetes comes. Sounds like you had a pretty long honeymoon.
Yeah, it was. Unless I was unwell, but I've held that insulin regime since 2 or 3 years or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to that hospital visit, I basically did a 200% profile eventually when they weren't helping and managed to get it down. I just didn't want to put that much in back then and then have something happen later. I didn't understand it well enough.
Yeah. You don't have hormonal shifts anymore because of the hysterectomy. Is that right?
No, I do. So I have a full natural cycle or whatever. I just don't have a uterus. Oh. So I have my ovaries are like tacked to the inside of my stomach. It's gross.
It's gross.
When I woke up from the operation, I had these 2 weird bruises. It took me like a week to be like, that's where they'll be because I have no tubes and I have no odor, nothing else. They have to be there because where else would they go? They just fall down the bottom.
Wait, so they didn't take everything out?
Everything. So I have no cervix, no uterus, no tubes.
Okay. All right. But you still have a cycle?
Yeah, I don't bleed, obviously, because there's nothing for it to bleed from, but I have a cycle. Yeah. So I can...
Does it all happen the same way? Do you feel like... I don't want to say that, I was going to... See, you've got me loose and joking around, so I was going to say something like, are you really sweet and then horrible 24 hours later? But that's not a thing that actually happens to women, and I shouldn't say that.
Oh, it definitely does.
No,
I can't decide if that's that or undiagnosed thyroid. I'm sure it's a bit of both.
Oh, I've been wondering about your thyroid the whole time we're talking.
I bet.
Have you had it tested?
Define tested.
Did you get a TSH level? Did you do a full thyroid?
I get them all the time.
And what's your TSH?
Okay, so the highest I've seen it since my event when I was younger would be a 2.6, I think it was. And then the next test, which was weeks later, was a 1.4. And yeah, so it's not extremely high, but it's bouncing.
It's bouncing, but it's not. 2.6, and I don't think you're looking for Medicaid. Do you have a lot of thyroid type symptoms?
I'd say all of them. Dry skin, hair, bitchiness.
Oh, that might be genetic. Isn't that what your dad said about your mom?
Yeah, this is true. You could be right there. I never thought of that.
Wouldn't it be crazy if your whole life was exploded because your mom had undiagnosed hypothyroidism?
Oh my gosh. She'd know. They've got a better health system over there, I think.
They have a better health system over there, I think. Oh my God.
Better than here. That's not saying much.
Riki, I'm sorry. We're going to get right back to it. I just watched my chameleon eat a cricket from about 19 inches away. And even
oh my God,
I was put off by how far his tongue just came out. My God, man. I've never seen it go that far before.
That's impressive.
Oh my God, 19 inches, right? And I can tell because I know how long the cage is and I know where he's standing. I saw him see the cricket and I was like, he can't reach that. And he got a little look on his face like, I'm going to eat that. And then, oh my God. Anyway, we should all own a chameleon.
I wonder if we're allowed them here.
Oh, yeah. Some countries don't let you bring in
yeah, we're really green and woke here.
Well, that's how you keep it. That's why you don't have any of the snakes, though, right?
Yeah, fair play. And we protect our birds.
I protect mine as well. Yeah, no, always. Actually, even if Kelly looks a little surly, I stand with my hands in front of me.
That's part of your employment contract as a husband, though, isn't it?
Oh, I would not be allowed to have my chameleon in New Zealand.
I don't know that for sure, but I don't know.
No, I asked
I
asked our overlords. New Zealand has very strict biosecurity laws to protect its unique ecosystem, and most reptiles, especially exotic species I don't want to say what kind of chameleon I have because it's expensive and you're all going to think I'm rich and I'm not, are prohibited by being imported or keep as pets. How about that? Oh, I can't leave you here, Durbin. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Yeah,
I ain't
it's because the locals will just yeet them into the forest, and
and then you'll have Florida before you know it.
Yeah, that'd definitely happen here. I can see it now.
Yeah, just driving down the street as an anaconda's eating a deer. You're like, wait, where am I? Is this Jacksonville? Why did we put Ville after all of our? Yeah, that's another story.
Yeah, okay. That's strange. Yeah. Horror movie titles.
All right, so hold on a second. I can do this. It's Monday. I haven't recorded it in a couple of days. I'm doing the whole thing in my head. Jackson, and the baby, and the stuff, and then the periods and everything, and the diabetes. Oh, I got it. You had kind of a long diagnosis, right? Do you think you were a Lotta for a while?
because of my medical distrust, everything that they tell me, I debunk. There's only one thing that they've told me so far that I believe to be true, which is that alcohol causes low blood sugar.
I'll tell you one thing they've said, Scott, that I can tell you 100% is true.
Yeah, that one definitely. I mean, the setting for the test was good, I thought, but it didn't pan out how I had planned. So, we'll leave it there. Wait, what was the question again? I lost myself.
It doesn't matter because you're just like, I know for sure booze makes you low. I can tell you that's right, and they told me that. How many times have you tested that? I've drunk a little bit here and there, but I did a binge. So I went to a general practitioner doctor's birthday party, 40th birthday, and started drinking at 5 p.m. and I didn't stop until, the last thing I remember is 9 o'clock the following morning. Jesus
I drank all the way through that. And the reason I don't remember is because my sensor came off and then I went hypo and my partner wasn't there, who's amazing with all this kind of stuff, but he happened to turn up to collect me the next morning and I was passed out somewhere and he managed to get some sugar into me and all the rest of it. So that test, I believe them. I reckon it's a tequila.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been fine if I didn't have the tequila.
Tequila is what did you in?
Yeah, that was at 8 a.m. and I remember being conscious, aware enough of being like, I need juice in that.
Wait, you were drinking tequila at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, with juice. But we hadn't slept, so it was like just a continuation of the night before.
Was it hard to take in sugary juice after drinking like that?
No, because I was so drunk.
You just didn't know? You're like, I think it's possible. My stomach hurts. But anyway, someone get me liquid morphine. I know how to fix this.
Yeah. So 2 ambulances came to that.
Yeah.
And that's the only proper low blood sugar where I've needed help that I've had really.
Awesome. That's really something. Okay. Jesus, this has gotten off the rails. Also, you said something when I said, I probably couldn't come there because I couldn't bring my chameleon. And then I said, that's probably why you guys don't have a lot of snakes everywhere. And you said, you responded in a way, and I thought, what a neat colloquial phrase that is. I'm literally going to go back and find out what it is. Actually, forget it. I'll just leave this here for Rob. Rob, when you're editing this, whatever she says after I say that, I want to make that the title of the episode. There. Then it'll just be in the notes after it's edited. It's magical. Thank you, Rob.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how long does it take you to get a pump? 8 months, you said?
Yeah, 8 months, but I'm relentless. I really am.
But it could have taken longer had you not been.
Oh, I know people that have been trying to get one for 5 years and don't have one.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I went online, found the criteria for pumps in New Zealand and how they give them to people, and I found that you could get one on a low criteria. So I just started faking lows at the gym.
Scott,
and then I went back to my doctor and said, I'm not going to exercise anymore. I can't. And boom, pump.
I got a bottle of tequila. I went to the gym and I got my pump right away. Is that basically? So you just showed them a lot of low blood sugars and said it's stopping me.
I told them. I didn't even do them.
Oh, you just lied. Awesome.
Yeah. And I had already paid for it because we have only just started funding CGMs here as of last month. So I was already paying for Dexcom. So it was, I think that helped because obviously Control IQ or Basal IQ had just come out then.
Yeah.
So that's how I got. And I wasn't going to say no. They weren't going to say no.
Are the pumps covered by government insurance?
Everything is.
Everything. So Dexcom, you don't pay money for that stuff.
I spent $15,000 on Dexcom over 3 years up until a month ago. They started paying for it and I cried in the pharmacy when they gave me 3 months of life.
And they were like, here, these are yours now. And you're like, don't you need thousands of New Zealand dollars from me? You don't call them New Zealand dollars probably, but you know what I mean.
No, that's what they're called, New Zealand dollars.
Wait, they really are?
Yeah, NZD.
I don't call my money American dollars.
It is though.
I know, but okay.
It's USD.
I know it is, but nobody says that. They just say dollar. Also,
Depends
nobody
on your
says
job, right?
I got to be honest here. Mostly what happens is people double click the side of their phone, hold their phone in front of their face, then hold their phone up to the cash register, and then it all just happens. So,
yeah, good point. We do that a little bit too.
Yeah. What's it like figuring out diabetes as an adult?
Scary. So because of my lack of knowledge of what type 1 diabetes is, as soon as they told me I was diabetic, I was like, sweet, I'll go keto. It'll be gone.
I'll conquer this in a month.
And then paired with the advice from the people that discharged me from the hospital, again, I was very pushy. I wanted out of there. I think I only spent 30 hours in the hospital. So the advice was, if you are over 12 mmol, inject 5 units. If you're not, don't. But I had gone keto.
So that was the whole of the advice?
Oh, and 16 units of Lentis, because they discharged me with pens.
Okay.
That's it.
Are you supposed to follow up with a different doctor?
I had 3 appointments, or like 3 different specialist appointments every month for 6 months after that. So it was dietitian, endocrinologist, nurse practitioner, but they kind of taught you the prime your needle and don't inject in the same place. And I was pushing for carb information because I had that point, I'd already started Googling. And I'm going, you guys need to put me on Daphne. I figured out what Daphne was, which is a course that we have here and in Australia called Daily Adjustments for Normal Eating.
Right.
So that's basically what I'd call like the introduction to type 1. Like I wanted that, but they wouldn't let me do it for a year. And that's when I started getting annoyed and at the things that they were trying to teach and all the rest of it, and finding that all of it was most of it was wrong. Like I was high or low. There was no in between.
Right.
It was nothing.
Riki, you couldn't do Daphne for a year because there was no availability, or because they didn't want you to have the information?
They didn't want me to have the information.
For the first year?
Yeah, for a year. Apparently it would be overwhelming. And I'm like, you do not know me.
Isn't it great? It's not overwhelming to be low and then high and then low and then high and then low. That's not overwhelming. Just this. Wow, boy.
That's strange.
Well, okay. So we go to another place, another time, another country. Doesn't matter. Same.
Well,
crap.
actually, I had a way around it. In the UK, they've got an amazing online resource. So I did an online carb counting course through the UK NHS.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that, and that kind of gave me a bit of information, and then I just started learning more. And I don't know, I'm not scared of dumb things, I guess. So I'd just put in insulin and hope for the best, and like, oh well, some sugar will fix that. I didn't know. I hadn't listened to podcasts at this point or anything, but I knew that carbs would bring it up and it can't be that bad. Anthony will help if I pass out.
How do you find this podcast? Because I have to admit, it's way more popular in Australia and New Zealand than I would ever expect. So do people share it there?
Yeah. So I had somebody tell me about it. So I help a lot of people try and get a pump that aren't pushy enough. I met this lovely woman that lives north of me, and she told me about it. So I joined the Facebook group and asked some questions on there, I think, or was lurking on there. And then I noticed the information about the podcast, and I'd never, ever listened to a podcast before. And it's the only podcast I've ever listened to since then. And that was probably a year ago, I think.
Oh, wow.
Maybe a little bit less. Yeah. And now my A1C, I don't know, our A1C is really different to yours. But so I was 118 at diagnosis. I was 60 doing it my own way, learning myself or whatever. And now it's 37, which is an equal to a 5.5.
Wow. Good for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, good for you. Look at you just going out and just figuring the whole thing out on your own.
Well, you have no choice, really. Yeah. That's the thing.
But still, a lot of people would hear, I take 16 units of this a day. And if my blood sugar's over this, I shoot this much, and that's what I do. And that's okay, because that's what they told me. And I guess I get low and I get high, and this is my life now.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
No, you're definitely not the kind of person who's going to just be like, oh, that seems okay. Is it possible? I don't want to try to high side something kind of this terrible, but is it possible, had you not gone through all this stuff with and I know I'm sorry, I forget the word. It's not endometriosis.
It's the same thing. Adenomyosis is the localized in the uterus.
Localized in the uterus. Had you not gone through all of that, do you think you would have known to fight about your diabetes?
Absolutely not.
No, you wouldn't have.
I would be in the, like in the 8's A1C range. I'd be having complications in 20 years and blindly agreeing to everything these well-meaning people are telling me.
Think they're well-meaning?
Apparently.
That's what they told me.
That's it.
They said, Riki, I have your best interest at heart. Please don't bolus unless your blood sugar is over 12.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not great with that either, but 12 is...
High.
Yeah, hold on a second. Where's my little magic machine?
It's well over 200, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's over 250.
That's when you should bowl. I can look. I have actually juiceboxpodcast.com. Go to the top, click on A1C and blood glucose calculator. Then what I do is I click on millimoles, and then I put in 12, and then it tells me it's a 216. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's when you should. And by the way, not
5 units.
Yeah. Not a measured amount. Just, hey, go with 5. Like, woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My insulin, like my carb ratio, is 1 to like 20 grams as well. So I'm quite sensitive to insulin.
Mm.
When I went keto and put in 5 units because I was over 12, that did not go good. Just
You don't like your blood sugar being high?
at all. I'm starting to correct 6.5s. I don't know, well, what that is in your
I'm going to guess it's like around 110. Because
it would be, because 112 is where Control IQ wants me. Yep.
117. So look at you. Oh, you're a disciple now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I'm going to pick you up as my daughter because, this one doesn't listen to me.
Maybe a bit old.
Well, that's okay. Seems like I think people listen when they get older.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. If I had got this in my 20s, I think I might already be dead. I was so out of control, like there's no way.
Really?
That's when I had my first dash with my thyroid. It was I think I was 22.
Mm-hmm.
And ended up in hospital because there was a big lump on my neck and I couldn't stop vomiting. And I had Graves' disease, thyroid toxicosis flare-up. I had no idea what any of that meant. And they discharged me with all of these pills, and there was too many of them, so I just didn't take them.
You do have an issue with your thyroid. You have Graves.
I do, yeah. So in my 20s, I got diagnosed Graves, and then in the last 6 months, I've had positive Hashimoto's antibodies.
Oh, so it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah.
And I'll start fighting now for when the symptoms really come, then they might medicate me.
Smart.
That's the goal.
Smart.
Yeah.
Do you have any other autoimmune issues?
Yeah, no, asthma and endo's the only other long kind of problems I've had.
Asthma's your other problem. Is your mom's English? Yep. Is your father from New Zealand?
Yes.
Yeah. What does that make you if you're from New Zealand?
I'm dual national, actually. I have a British passport and a New Zealand passport. I'd call myself a Kiwi, though, but plainly my accent and I fit in here.
But that's what I'm wondering.
That way.
Yeah, like I'm from the United States. I'm an American. I'm from England. I'm British. You're from New Zealand. You're
a Kiwi.
A Kiwi. That's a fruit too.
Like the bird.
Oh, also it's a fruit. It's a Kiwi. So it's a person, a bird, and a fruit.
Yeah.
Awesome. American's just one thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's because we're all obsessed with our bird that can't. What is it? It's blind and it can't fly.
Wait.
It's our national bird.
Is that true? Is that true?
You Google Kiwi. They're useless.
Hold on a second. It says it's not. What
do you mean?
I just love that you don't. Kiwis aren't blind, but their vision is quite limited compared to other birds.
Vision is quite limited. Blind.
Okay.
What can you do with limited vision anyway?
I don't know. I'm just imagining someone coming in and being like, I need a battery. And you're like, here's some windshield wipers. Close enough.
Yeah.
It's a nocturnal animal. So it sees better in low light conditions.
You don't see them any, like it's pretty rare to see one.
They are flightless.
Yeah. Jesus. I mean, look how small the wings are.
What a mess.
Do they even have wings?
Do they have wings? I'll find out. I like that you and I are finding out together. Hold on a second.
Yeah, obviously, it's not a car. I don't care for it that much.
They have wings, but they're extremely small and functionless for flight. Their wings are 2 inches long and are usually hidden under their dense hair-like feathers. These tiny wings don't support flight.
I want to see one flap.
Well, now I want to see I don't even know if I know what it is. Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It's probably called a kiwi because it's the shape of a fucking kiwi.
Oh my God, I never thought of that. And the color, holy shit.
It really is, right?
Wow, yes.
So then let's slow down for a second. Why are people from New Zealand called Kiwis? The country's national... Well, I know the national bird is a Kiwi, but how does that happen? The nickname started to be used for New Zealanders, especially during World War I, when New Zealand soldiers adopted the Kiwi as a symbol. The Kiwi bird, native to New Zealand, is unique to the country, flightless and easy recognizable. Imagine you're in the war and you're like, we need to, let us strike fear into the hearts of people.
Let's be tough.
What are we going to call ourselves? And somebody was like, Kiwis. And then somebody went, yeah. And then I assume they all died in the war. I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely would have. I imagine they would have. Wow.
All right.
Just wow.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's interesting.
It's funny.
You just think it's funny. It's also
hilarious.
it's like 4 a.m. there. So you're like, I don't know, Scott.
Yeah, fair play.
What time do you have to leave? You have to get out of here?
Oh, I've got another hour before I need to leave for work.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I won't keep you that long. Don't worry. I just don't want you to I don't want you to have to go to work and be like, I'm late because I was making a podcast. And then say, what was it about? And you're like, it was about my uterus, kiwis, electric cars and how they burn. God, what was this about?
I think they'd be very used to that. My last job, when I woke up from my surgery, the first thing I did was send a picture of the removed organ to my boss.
Is that what you did? I'm sorry I couldn't come to work today. Here is a picture of my removed uterus.
Yeah, here's my medical certificate.
Please take this in lieu of a note. Did he accept that photo?
Good. Oh, he loved it.
No.
It was grim. Yeah, automotive boys, mate.
Hey, I just want to say, sadly, approximately 18,000 New Zealanders died in World War I. 41,000 were wounded out of 100,000 that served. That's a big number.
Yeah, see?
Population only of about 1 million. Wow, you guys only had a population of about 1 million. You sent 100,000 people to fight, lost 40,000 of them.
It seems counterproductive to send people to fight. Were they going to, we're so little and tucked away. Are people even going to come at us here?
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'd just...
You got to get involved. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
I don't know. You know what?
We've got a pretty big moat.
Oh, that sounded sexual to me.
Hey, to be fair, it's got sharks in it if you come through the Australian side.
No, it's just funnier. Okay. There's a side of your little a little pile of dirt that you can swim on where there's no sharks?
Probably not.
Oh,
I've never seen one try and come at me, and I swim a lot.
You do go in the ocean frequently?
Yeah, I've beach at the bottom of my road, beach at the top of my road.
Wow.
Beaches are everywhere.
You've only been to Hawaii other than New Zealand and living in England when you were younger.
No, I've been back to England a few times. I try and go every 2 years or so. I did a little side holiday to Lanzarote 2 years ago, but I haven't done mainland America. I will do at some point. I want to come and have a look at some of your 4-lane drag strips.
Oh, yeah, there's a drag place near me, I believe.
Oh, yeah, there is in Jersey, yeah. There's one in South Carolina I want to see. It's got everything. I think there's like a NASCAR track because we've got a guy in your NASCAR series now that seems to be carving up a little bit.
Really? No,
yeah, it'd be cool to come and see him.
I don't want to say where this racetrack is because I think it's so close to my house that,
fair play.
You might be showing up. But yeah, there's a number of them in New Jersey.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. God, that'd be weird if you traveled here to see drag strips.
I've done it so many times. The first time I went to England, this is really bad. So I went over there to meet my mother and I said, look, I'm coming for 2 weeks. And for the first week, I'm going to be visiting tracks. Do you want to come? And she did. So I met her at the airport and we did all of the good tracks over there. We drove, she's seen more of England with me than she has the whole time she's been living there. Such a tiny country.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Was that the one time you met her as an adult?
Yeah, there had been a little bit of contact when we were younger, a few letters and phone calls here and there, but I'm really out of sight, out of mind with stuff like that. I'm quite I wouldn't say emotionless, but you know what I mean?
Well, that might happen. Do you think that happens a little from being raised without your mom?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Did you guys get on when you were together?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say obviously it was a massive thing for her. She was crying and all the rest of it, and I was trying to not be unsensitive about that. Once we got to the accommodation and we kind of sat down and had a drink, it was fun.
Did you find her to be, and I'm quoting you from earlier, a drunk bitch?
No. Oh, I mean, she likes her alcohol, but no, not really.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But she is much older, to be fair.
Much older than what?
Oh, then when the drunk bitch comment came out. Because I can think of...
She's grown since then, you're saying? Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can think of me at that age, and I would have been a drunk bitch too.
Has your dad kept up with her at all?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I brought her back to New Zealand a few years ago and they had a small interaction, but yeah, other than that, no.
A small interaction. But did it go like this? Hey.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah, I bet.
We'll leave it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I like that you brought her back there. Like, hey, you should come see Dad.
Yeah.
Do you think that all of those New Zealand Army people do you think they were throwing those little kiwis as grenades? Maybe that's why they weren't doing so well.
Ninja stars.
They were just throwing the birds at people. And they're like,
yeah,
I don't know.
the long beak bit.
My God. All right. I want to go to the last thing on your list.
Yeah.
I've shuddered to ask you about this the entire time because I don't know what you're going to say. But on your list, it says how to manipulate the prescription pad.
Oh, we're talking about my GP and my endocrinologist.
So you're just talking about how to manipulate the doctor specifically, not get drugs that you need.
Yeah, no, well, I mean insulin.
Okay.
I mean, they'll give it to me, but, well, that was more about how I got my pump manipulated. The prescription pad.
All right. Oh, good. So we've talked about that already then. Not that.
Yes.
I was like, I thought you were going to give us all like some advice for like, faking hip pain or something like that. I wasn't sure what was going on exactly. I will finish with that, right? You mentioned a number of times just not giving up, being pushy, that whole thing. Like, what did that look like functionally?
Chasing everything up twice a week. Email, phone, like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. I've always said that even before I got unwell. So if they say no, you come back with a reason why they'll be saying yes every single time. And if they cancel an appointment on you, rebook it. Just don't lay down. And if there's a criteria, find the criteria and meet the criteria.
Right.
However you need to do that, you do that.
Be undeniable no matter what is said to you.
That's it. Absolutely.
Right. Just keep pushing. Good for you. That's awesome. I mean, I find that to be the case. I don't know how long. I forget how old I was at some point, but I had a series of like not great jobs when I was younger. And finally, I'd been working so hard in like cold, dirty buildings. I was like, had to get out of there. And a friend of mine got me a job collecting credit card debts. And I've talked about it on the podcast, before. I did it for like a year. I was way too good at it. It made me feel bad. I got out of it as fast as I could. But I will tell you something. That is good practice for what you were talking about. Like that, like, hey, pay your bill. I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, you can. Like,
yes, you can.
I can't afford food. Buy fewer things to eat. I don't know what to tell you. You've made a debt here. Like that kind of like that. Not, and it sucks because trust me, I never once enjoyed that job. Like I really did. Yeah. I did hate it. But nevertheless, it did teach me how, like, you don't give up because people start saying like more and more heart-wrenching things. And I mean, there was a moment in my life where someone said to me, I can't pay for this car. My husband has cancer. And I had to respond, make a payment by the 15th or someone's going to come tow your car away. And not good for my soul, but it does teach you how to like hear something off-putting and persist, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what ends up happening is that somebody tells you you're not sick, that didn't hurt, blah, 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 blah. And you said, no, yes, I do. Fix this. I'm not going to stop. Here's an extra email. Here's another phone call. You're not going to ignore me. Somebody help me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just turn up to wherever the most expensive. So I think that's emergency department here. That's like, there'll be thousands every time that they admit you there. Yeah. They have to talk. Yeah.
Awesome.
You're on a book.
Good for you. I think that's awesome. It's a great story. It really is. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I hope you have a great day. I hope you enjoy the cake. I bet you it's going to suck and you're going to smile and act like it's not dry, but that's good for you.
Totally.
But it sounds like you do really like the people you work with, though.
Yeah. No, I love I have a couple of jobs, but I love the automotive industry. It's quite an interesting bunch of people.
Do you love cars so much that it doesn't matter what you drive? Or do you have a car that like, you're like, this is the perfect car for me?
Oh, I have 4 cars. Yeah. There's definitely the perfect car. I just can't afford it.
You can't afford. What would you drive if you could afford anything?
A 1963 Mazda Cosmo Sport, the first of the rotaries.
To kind of go back to when you were a kid?
Yeah, it'd be negative 20 years from when I was a kid, to be fair. I think the only person that I know that has one is Jay Leno.
Oh, he's got his YouTube channels. If you like cars, his YouTube channel is awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. He has got a collection.
He one time brought out, it looked like a carriage. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, this is the first electric car from like 1911. I'm like, wait, what? And then sure enough, it had batteries in it and it like a little thing and you turned it and the thing, and it was like I was like, oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah. Have you seen him drive that tank on the street?
No, there was a tank.
He's got a tank thing. Like maybe it's a Unimog. I don't know. It's some war vehicle. It doesn't look like it should be on a road.
All I know is he's one of the people, because of this car thing that he does on YouTube, which I very much enjoy. I hate to see that he's getting older.
Me too.
It makes me sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
There is no replacement for him.
I think it's because it's because driving to some degree really does count on you having, being agile and aware and good vision and all that stuff. And you can see how much he loves driving, but you can actually see as he gets older that it's more of a chore for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
It really does break my heart. I don't know if it just makes me feel like, am I going to be able to drive? Like when I get older, like if it's that feeling of your loss of freedom or not. I have to say this, though. I will tell you that I am a huge proponent of anybody and a lot of companies are doing it, but them trying to teach those cars to drive themselves, because I do genuinely believe that there's going to be an age where if I want to go visit my kids or be independent, there might have to be a world where I can get into a car, sit down and say to the car, like, hey, take me to the grocery store, and it does it. Or,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. It's me kind of hoping that, somebody finds a way to put a bandage on me being old one day. But
yeah, they're already nearly there. I used to work for Volvo and we had a self-drive car, like it's pairing features together. It definitely, you can't put a GPS in yet, but it'll drive without you doing anything a long distance. It's quite scary.
I've experienced the Tesla self-driving and it's insane. Like, it is insane how well it works. So who knows where it's all going to go to, but hopefully every car manufacturer pays attention to stuff like that. And you don't have to end up just going to one or two, companies. If you want to do something like that, it would be nice if they all put some effort into it, but let's keep the cars gas for you so you can be happy.
Yeah, that's all. Maybe they'll make a cool EV one day.
Okay. All right. Hold on 1 second for me.
Okay.
Having an easy-to-use and accurate blood glucose meter is just one click away. ContourNext.com/juicebox. That's right. Today's episode is sponsored by the Contour NextGen blood glucose meter. Arden has been getting her diabetes supplies from US Med for 3 years. You can as well. usmed.com/juicebox or call 888-721-1514. My thanks to US Med for sponsoring this episode and for being longtime sponsors of the Juicebox Podcast. There are links in the show notes and links at juiceboxpodcast.com to US Med and all of the sponsors. Touched by Type 1 sponsored this episode of the Juicebox Podcast. Check them out at touchedbytype1.org on Instagram and Facebook. Give them a follow. Go check out what they're doing. They are helping people with type 1 diabetes in ways you just can't imagine. Okay, well, here we are at the end of the episode. You're still with me? Thank you. I really do appreciate that. What else could you do for me? Why don't you tell a friend about the show or leave a 5-star review? Maybe you could make sure you're following or subscribed in your podcast app. Go to YouTube and follow me, or Instagram, TikTok. Oh gosh, here's one. Make sure you're following the podcast in the private Facebook group as well as the public Facebook page. You don't want to miss, please. Do you not know about the private group? You have to join the private group. As of this recording, it has 51,000 members in it. They're active, talking about diabetes. Whatever you need to know, there's a conversation happening in there right now. And I'm there all the time. Tag me. I'll say hi. Are you starting to see patterns, but you can't quite make sense of them? You're like, oh, if I bolus here, this happens, but I don't know what to do. Should I put in a little less, a little more? If you're starting to have those thoughts, if you're starting to think, this isn't going the way the doctor said it would, I think I see something here, but I can't be sure. Once you're having those thoughts, you're ready for the Diabetes Pro Tip series from the Juicebox Podcast. It begins at episode 1000. You can also find it at juiceboxpodcast.com up in the menu, and you can find a list in the private Facebook group. Just check right under the featured tab at the top. It'll show you lists of a ton of stuff, including the Pro Tip series, which runs from episode 1000 to 1025. Hey, what's up, everybody? If you've noticed that the podcast sounds better and you're thinking like, how does that happen? What you're hearing is Rob at Wrong Way Recording doing his magic to these files. So if you want him to do his magic to you, wrongwayrecording.com. You got a podcast? You want somebody to edit it? You want Rob.